Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology grounded in love. A love which calls us to see the holy in every being and to take compassionate action in the world. In this space, we gather with open minds, open hearts, and open hands to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and growth. Welcoming people of all nations, all creeds, all colors, and all kinds of love. Whether you're here every week, arriving for the first time, or dropping in once in a while, we celebrate all of who you are and all you are becoming. You are welcome here.
Good morning. I'm Beth Robbins, Executive Minister here at Arlington Street. Welcome. You've come on a very special Sunday. Today, we honor Roger Vine, our artist in residence, as he celebrates 50 years, that's 50 years at Arlington Street. Congratulations, Roger. Reverend Parisa, Roger, and I are joined by Mark David Buckles and the Arlington Street Choir in leading worship today. We couldn't do this without the tech team, greeters, ushers, worship team, and coffee hour hosts. Thank you, friends. If you're new to Arlington Street, welcome. We are so glad you're here and would love to stay connected. Please fill out a connection card from the ushers or from the link in the Zoom chat. Since we can't personally greet all of you, Reverend Parisa and I would love to follow up with a hello. Please plan to stay after today's service to visit. If you're online, you're invited to remain in the Arlington Street Zoom room for virtual coffee hour. The in-person congregation will gather in the Honeywell Chapel right through the leather door up front. On the last pages of the order of service, you'll find information on upcoming Arlington Street events. There's lots going on, both in person and on Zoom, and we'd love to see you this week. This coming Saturday, January the 18th, the People's March is gathering on the Boston Common. If you'd like to attend with the Arlington Street group, please meet Reverend Parisa and Reverend John O'Connor on the front steps just outside the great doors at 10:30. The Prudential Committee, our governing board, warmly invites everyone to attend our next congregational meeting after the service on Sunday, January 26th. We'll be discussing our ministerial transition process and gathering your input on next steps. Don't miss it. Thanks to Rebecca Reed and Rebecca Parkhill. We are about to kick off a fun series of winter socials. If y'all want to just stand so everyone can see who you are. Thank you. These gatherings provide an opportunity to share a potluck meal with a small group of people from church. For more information or to sign up, please see one of the Rebeccas at coffee hour or email the church office at office@ascboston.org. And now, Rich is going to turn the camera on the in-person congregation as we wave and smile at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room. And all of you in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. This is always one of my favorite parts of the service. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark David Buckles, Director of Music. Our opening hymn is one that during my 18 years here, I think we've sung one time. It's a perfectly lovely hymn, and but I just thought it would be like a nice opportunity to remind how we might engage with a hymn that we don't yet know. That's a traditional hymn. And the first thing is we're going to play it, the melody through once on the piano, and you can hear it. And even if you think you don't read music, this is one of the hymns that's in our gray hymnal, number 299. And I think it helps to just follow along and see the up and down. Even if you think you can't read music, it does actually help a little bit. And so you're going to hear it, and then we're going to sing it. It's actually a pretty familiar tune, even if we haven't sung these words to it. And as always, my advice for if you want to try to sing harmony, and this applies to even songs you've never heard before, here's what you do. You pick a note, and you keep singing that note until it doesn't sound good, and then you move to another note next to that note, and that one will probably work. So I invite you to try that as well, if you like. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit, and sing together hymn number 299 in the gray hymnal, Make Channels for the Streams of Love.
Our opening words this morning come from the poet David Whyte. To feel as if you belong is one of the great triumphs of human existence, and especially to sustain a life of belonging and to invite others into that. But it's interesting to think that our sense of slight woundedness around not belonging is actually one of our core competencies. We are the one part of creation that knows what it's like to live in exile. And the ability to turn your face towards home is one of the great human endeavors and one of the great human stories. It's interesting to think that no matter how far you are from yourself, no matter how exiled you feel from your contribution to the rest of the world or society, as a human being, all you have to do is enumerate exactly the way you don't feel at home in the world, to say exactly how you don't belong. And at that moment, you've uttered the exact dimensionality of your exile. You're already taking the path back to the way, back to the place where you should be. You're already on your way home. However near or far you feel to belonging this morning, we light the chalice in the name of the light of truth that welcomes us home over and over again, right back into the arms of love.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved spiritual community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. Let's join now in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
A candle of love and deep sympathy for Betsy Shearer, whose sister Lindsay passed away after a lengthy illness. In addition to being Betsy's beloved big sister, Lindsay was an avid adventurer who loved the outdoors. May her memory be a blessing. Our final candle of sorrow is from Fran Peterson. A candle of care for our neighbors to the west in California. The fires they're experiencing are devastating, and it will take many months, if not years, to recover. My hope for the people touched by the fires is that they will take care of each other and that the rest of the country will continue to send love and kindness in the form of donations and acts of service. As we help them rebuild their lives, our hearts are with them.
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A mixed candle for all of those affected by the devastating wildfires in the Los Angeles area, and prayers for safety and strength for the journey of recovery. Gratitude for the news from our beloved Robert Holly and Harlow Robinson that they are safe. Harlow writes, "We're doing okay, not too close to the fires, and we're not evacuated. We've been hosting a friend whose house was threatened but did not burn. Air quality is bad, but slowly improving. Unlike so many in the area, we're grateful we never lost power. So many folks have endured such enormous loss, including some friends and associates. We've received so many messages of support and love from all over, and many from Arlington Street folks, for which we are so grateful. We love our Arlington Street community and treasure our connection. Thank you." Our final candle of joy is from the Arlington Street community, celebrating this week's executive action to permanently ban offshore drilling in 625 million acres of ocean. Thank you, President Biden, for safeguarding our treasured coastal communities for future generations.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for all beings, for our country, and for all nations. Amen.
Please join now in saying the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos: convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Our reading this morning comes from the Hebrew Scriptures, the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. I'm told this is kind of unusual for Arlington Street, so some are excited, some maybe less so. Let's roll with it. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem in Judah went to live in the country of Moab, he and his wife and 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, And the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem. They went into the country of Moab and remained there. But Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. Those sons took Moabite wives. The name of one was Orpah, the name of the other Ruth. When they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, so that the woman was left without her 2 sons and without her husband. Then Naomi started to return with her daughters-in-law from the country of Moab, for she had heard that in Moab the Lord had considered his people and given them food. So she set out from the place where she had been living, she and those 2 daughters-in-law, and they went on their way to go back to the land of Judah. But Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant that you may find security, each of you in the house of your husband." Then she kissed them, and they wept aloud. They said to her, "No, we will return with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Do I still have sons in my womb that they might become your husbands? Turn back, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I thought there was hope for me, even if I should have a husband tonight and bear sons, would you then wait until they were grown? Would you then refrain from marrying? No, my daughters. It's been far more bitter for me than for you, because the hand of the Lord has turned against me." Then they wept aloud again. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. So Naomi said, "See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after Orpah." But Ruth said, "Do not press me to leave you or turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die. There I will be buried. May the Lord do thus and so to me, and more as well, if even death parts me from you." When Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more to Ruth. Here ends the reading. The story of Naomi and Ruth, as full as it is of unfamiliar names and locations, is balm for a weary soul. After a divisive election season in the lead up to the inauguration of a felon to the highest office in our land, with our own nation in tumult over immigration, reproductive justice, climate action, and so much else, with much of the country literally on fire, we are surrounded by bombast and, shall we say, carefully presented facts. And yes, more and more often, outright lies, all meant to make us draw ourselves into narrower and narrower tribes. We know that this is a tale as old as humanity, and yet, so is this one. Naomi and her husband, Elimelech, driven by famine from their home in Bethlehem to the land of Moab, settle there, raise their sons. Elimelech dies, but the sons marry two Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. And as time passes, those sons also die, leaving Naomi, Ruth, and Orpah with a moment of reckoning. Will they knit their fates together? The rules of the Moabite and the Israelite cultures of the time are clear. Women are the property of men, and a woman without a man is utterly vulnerable, suspect, frankly, unlikely to last very long. So the accepted custom of the time would be for Orpah and Ruth to return to their families, as Naomi urges them, to the shelter and the care of other men in their lives, fathers, brothers, uncles. But they love Naomi. She is their connection to their husbands, to the lives they knew, the lives they chose. And she is their kin now. And so they weep. And she sends them forth with the prayer that God will deal kindly with them, more kindly than the bitter hand she herself has been dealt. She knows she has to return to Bethlehem and has no idea what, if anything, or anyone awaits her there. It's a journey that must seem impossibly lonely to a heart that already is full of such grief. And yet, it's her only choice. Orpah is finally and understandably persuaded to return to her home, but Ruth insists on clinging to Naomi. She will make herself a stranger in a new land for the sake of that love. She will risk everything she may have hoped for to live out this loyalty to her mother-in-law. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I die, and there I will be buried. Can you imagine living a loyalty, a love like that? Maybe you already are. The reminder that such a commitment, such a high-risk promise can exist is quite an antidote to these cynical politics of our times. The power of devotion between people of different lands, different faiths, different tribes is a wonder in any time, but that their loyalty propelled them to risk their lives to see their way into a different future. That, my friends, is astounding. They let themselves be guided by the holy that they knew in relationship with each other, over and above the religious and the social rules of either of their people. They did what simply wasn't done in their time, and still feels risky and improbable in our time. As I sat with this story this week, I was struck by how profoundly it spoke to the distance in my own soul between what I experience in real-life relationship and what I am told the world is like and really has to be like by all the various media I consume. Just this week, we all waded through the news of the latest shenanigans of our president-elect. We heard of the devastating fires and their impact on Southern California, wars taking lives and homes around the world, the sense of powerlessness that goes with all of it. And all of you have still arrived here, in person or virtually, to a haven of community beauty. All of those things exist at once. Here, we do the work of showing up for each other, listening closely to the joys and the sorrows that are shared. We check in with each other at Meta or the writing group or poetry or Buddha's belly or meditation or tea. You check in on each other and show up with gestures of comfort and care, not because anyone asked you to, but because when we enter into this community, we make the commitment of membership and we bind ourselves to one another. We make ourselves one people. Now, most of us in this community are not people who belong to this faith tradition growing up, and often the paths that brought us here involved a recognition that the faith or culture we were raised in was not the one that fit who we most deeply are. And for those of us who were more or less raised in this faith, there's still the matter of choosing which community will claim us, and that we will claim. Our risk isn't quite as stark as Ruth's, but still we offer ourselves to this community and wonder, will we be held? It's the trickiest of journeys, the question of how we will find our way to belonging. Theologically, our historic Unitarian and Universalist faiths would say that all of us were born belonging to the kingdom of God, born with capacity for goodness, born and surrounded by unfailing love from an infinite source. The work of the spiritual life is to tap into that source, to trust it and cultivate it enough to find ways to be who we truly are. But it's a long uphill battle with lots of voices that tell us otherwise. And especially given that what surrounds us are other humans who are different than we are, who don't love perfectly or all the time the same. And we want to compare ourselves in order to figure out if we do fit in. Are we doing okay? Do we belong? None of that ever feels permanent or long-standing as an internal state, that being and belonging. Researcher and author Brené Brown writes that true belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness both in being part of something and in standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging, she writes, means that you don't change who you are, but you get to be who you are. You don't negotiate it externally, it's what you carry in your heart. It's finding sacredness in being part of something and in braving the wilderness alone. When we reach this place, she continues, we momentarily belong everywhere and nowhere. It seems absurd, but it's true. And maybe this is what David White means, that when that inkling of our not belonging, when we realize we might not be home, is our core competency. It's that understanding that we are yearning for something ever better and truer and richer and deeper. And we're defining it both by our comfort and our discomfort. I wonder if that's the place that Ruth reached, that made it possible for her to commit herself so fully to being a stranger in a new land. It sounds so painfully lonely, doesn't it? The paradox of this ability to be who you are, to carry a sense of belonging with you, is that it makes it possible to connect with others more deeply in the fullness of who they are, because we no longer have to conform or compare. There is no perfect place we have all landed, and then we shut the doors. We are creating it, discovering it, negotiating it together all the time. Now, this is the opposite of the ways belonging is defined in a lot of other settings, where at one extreme you have the popular mean girls in high school saying, on Wednesdays we wear pink. Or less aggressively, we share views on individual things that we believe with stickers on our cars, sorting ourselves or being sorted by others. Those narrow boxes, those fragile alliances are what contribute to this growing epidemic of loneliness. When we show up in this faith community, we're working both on the desire to find a place to belong, to be able to bring all of who we are, and if we take our spiritual lives seriously, we are practicing what it takes to create that deeper sense of true belonging, tapping into that eternal source of goodness that moves in us and through us, deepening into who we are meant to be. Now, if we are all a whole lot of people bringing our stories of not belonging, our hurts and our wounds from other places, and then looking for a place to belong, and then work on that sense of belonging everywhere, and also trying to remain able to stand alone in the wilderness, well, that's a lot to hold, it's a lot to carry, and it's bound to bring some ups and downs in community life, some complications and some conflicts. We might arrive with stars in our eyes and hearts full of hope, and in a few weeks or months or years, we realize, wow, this isn't paradise all the time. For that, in the story of Ruth, we have this Hebrew word that shows up, often translated as kindness, but that means so much more. When Naomi releases Ruth and Orpah from their obligation to her, she says, "May the Lord deal kindly with you." And the word for kindly is chesed, which is translated in the almost 250 times it appears in the Hebrew scriptures a little differently each time. Often it means loving kindness. Sometimes it means charity. Sometimes it implies forgiveness. Often it implies a loyalty that is immeasurable. It's used both for God's commitment to a people and humans' commitment to one another. And it carries the meaning, especially in the story of Ruth, that it is possible to go beyond what's expected, certainly beyond what's required, in order to do what is loving and just. Chesed is a commitment made with deep reverence, with the impulse toward unimaginably great love, toward salvation, toward justice, which you then have to live with and live within. So when we join a new community, when we enter a new relationship, and we make those initial exuberant commitments, of which Ruth's is still the most eloquent and dramatic, we are full of hope and promise. And yet what we spend much of our actual time doing, what shapes our lives and our relationships much more dramatically, is what follows after those commitments, when we realize what we've gotten ourselves into. When the proverbial honeymoon is over and someone's shirking their duties, or just simply getting on our nerves. Or in the very public sphere, hijacking meaningful political discourse in order to sell advertising or please billionaires. There is an impulse when we encounter any and all of that to say, I'm out of here. But in each stage of our lives together, we have to live into what those professions of love and belonging mean. Because on some level, we know we're never going to get them totally right. And we know we can't keep ourselves from trying. We need each other to remind ourselves of the big and brave commitments to kindness, to mercy, to justice and love, and know how they are lived all around us all the time. as well as how they are lived within us, if we're paying attention. When we tune ourselves together, keep reminding ourselves and each other what matters, we can build a future of openness, welcome, and love that frees us to make the world one where everyone can live into their fullness and no one is cast out. My friends, I pray that we will turn to one another in what we know up close as the beauty of relationship and community and loving kindness, for strength to make the world outside as we wish it were. May we turn to each other for strength for that journey. Amen.
I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. I know the way you panic in the morning. I know the way your fingers tangle tight. I know just where you go when your mind goes far away. Don't ask me to go backwards, 'cause I'm not going anywhere. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I'll stay. What's important to you? 'Cause I've been reaching past my shoulders. I've been curled up in my skin, wondering just how much it takes to start again. Wondering just how much it takes to start again. I'm not going anywhere. You can't shake this like the dirt upon your shoes. Oh, I'll carry all the weight. If your strength it disappears, I'll be close as skin upon your back, my dear. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while you're walking. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. If we're stuck here being honest, I'm not going anywhere. You can't shake this like the dirt upon your shoes. Oh, I'll carry all the weight. If your strength it disappears, I'll be close as skin upon your back, my dear. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking. I'm not tired, I'll be here in the morning. I'm not tired, I'll keep watch while we're walking.
So beautiful. Thank you, friends. Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. And our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. On this special Sunday, our full collection plate will be dedicated to supporting our music program in honor of our beloved Roger Vine and his 50 years of service to Arlington Street. This beautiful building has stood at the gateway to the Back Bay for 164 years. I would venture to guess that throughout all of that time, Roger Vine has spent more hours in this building than any person, living or dead. In addition to his music ministry as our organist in residence, Roger does so many things here. Did you know that we are warm in this sanctuary right now because Roger turned the heat on last night, as he has nearly every winter Saturday night in recent memory? When you send your very generous checks to the church, the person who sorts that mail and takes your check to Eastern Bank to be deposited and put to the good use of the work of this church is Roger. Roger manages all of the tuning and maintenance of our beautiful historic organ and has given over 50 Boston premieres here at Arlington Street. For 32 consecutive New Year's Eves, Roger coordinated the American Guild of Organists first night concerts at Arlington Street. Roger has had his beautiful grand piano on loan to us for over 20 years. It's in the Clark Room upstairs and is used every Thursday evening for our choir rehearsal. Roger is our resident historian and has given countless coming-of-age tours and bell-ringing lessons to teenagers from UU churches from across the country. And Roger is an unfailingly kind and gentle and helpful presence to the staff and to anyone who spends time in this building during the week. And lest you think that Roger is merely a legend within these walls, he studied with both Maurice and Marie-Madeleine Duruflé, as heard in today's Prelude. The Rachmaninoff piece you are about to hear Roger play is one of 24 Earl Wild arrangements that Roger edited in preparation for publication. Roger, thank you for the many, many ways you support and sustain our beloved spiritual community. We honor your 5 decades of service and dedication. We are so grateful, and we love you very, very much. Friends, please take a moment now to join me in giving to honor Roger Clinton Fine. You can give online at ascboston.org or find instructions in the order of service for giving via QR code, Venmo, or text message. You can also mail a check to the church for Roger to open, or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be given to the ushers as they come through momentarily with collection plates. Thank you for your generosity.
Our final hymn is a deeply familiar part of our weekly liturgy here at Arlington Street. And this morning, I invite us to sing it as a prayer, as a wish, as a hope, and most of all, as a commitment to be with those who are most vulnerable among us. We'll begin singing our familiar verse, and then between verses, lift up particular folks we accompany in spirit as we sing and pray. Please rise in body or spirit to join in Where You Go, I Will Go.
Where you go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Once more. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
We hold in our hearts all those who express fully who they are in their gender affection, our gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, non-binary, and intersex family. We celebrate all love, its presence, and its power to heal.
Where you go, I will go, my siblings. Where you go, I will go, my siblings. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, my siblings. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
We extend deep wells of compassion to those who are displaced, exiled, lost, and far from home. Those rebuilding lives and holding on to fragile threads of connection to their family, culture, or people.
Where you go, I will go, refugee. Where you go, I will go, refugee. Where you go, I will go. Add some harmony. Where you go, I will go, refugee. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
We hold our arms wide open for the children whose lives hang in the balance, in poverty, exploited, or torn from their parents by circumstances beyond their control. We pray for their safety and their flourishing.
My children, where you go, I will go, my children. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, my children. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine.
gather to us the strength of example of all the peoples in all times and places who've struggled through uncertainty, fear, and turmoil, especially our own forebears. We call on their wisdom, their comfort, and their power.
Where you go, I will go, my ancestors. Where you go, I will go, my ancestors. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, my ancestors. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Wherever you've come from, in person or on Zoom, near or far, and wherever you go from here, take the love of this community with you. Let it be a blessing, a balm, an inspiration to gather in the lost, the stranger, and the exile. May we work toward that world where all are home, where all belong. Let us take each other's hands and let us know one another's hearts. The service begins when the service ends, my friends. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are mine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.